Okay, good morning, guys. Look, guys. Hello, guys. Okay, first, I'm trying to be serious. When I feel seen. No, I think the most beautiful thing about having a YouTube channel is that every day I wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna do something silly on my channel and maybe I'll be seen. What does that mean? I don't know. Another human being, whether it's in the next room or across the galaxy. Just, I make an impact. Like they see what I created, whether it's in the toilet or on YouTube. I'm just messing around. Okay, look, I'm gonna show you another watch. This watch I love. It reminds me that I'm a citizen. That's why I love Citizen. Not only because it's Japanese and I love Japan. I was gonna say I love Japanese things and Japan. And then I bumbled it. I fumbled it together. And I did the camel. Digital camouflage. Look, I just woke up and then I pushed my words together. Much like my body. Look, don't tell anyone, okay? But seriously, your body makes weapons of mass destruction. If you're regular, it does it on a daily basis. No, I'm like, look, I get confused because those are biological and chemical weapons. Like, when you really think about how dangerous poo is, should we really just be flushing it down the toilet is what I'm saying. Maybe there should be like specialized ghost busters, because those are the ghosts of things that you ate. And then now it's the carcass that you're sailing away. Goodbye. Carcasses of things that I ate. Okay, look, this is why. Okay, I'm sorry. First, let me apologize. That went in a direction that was poopy, literally. But no, this is my favorite game. I like it when look, what if there's a augmented reality version of this, and then they make an all digital version of this? Look, that's how they should label games. First of all, I think there should be literal game stores, not just with retro game stuff, but with new stuff. It should be a video game store. Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. I'm looking at you guys. PC. There used to be stores just dedicated. I know GameStop exists, but what if you can't help but just feel like that isn't big enough? GameStop, you're not big enough. You went out of business because you're not big enough. Toys R Us, you went out of business because you're not big enough. You didn't think big enough. Think off planet. No, I'm just messing around. Okay, but no, I haven't played this game enough to really be able to articulate why I love it so much, but I do. It's one of my favorite games. Let me just read the back. I'm practicing my reading here, guys. Okay, compounded, players take on the roles of lab managers, competing to complete the okay, look, let me just take it serious. I'm trying to read, guys. The most compounds with carefully managed elements before they are finished by others or destroyed in the lab explosion. There's a fair share of press, pure luck, tension, and strategic planning, but the most successful scientists will often strike a good trade with their fellow lab mates. Players may freely trade elements, lab tools, and even favors if there is truly honor amongst chemists. Look, I always tell my wife I don't like favors because then it's just an open-ended invitation for somebody to ask to welcome themselves to everything that you have. But look, it's just a game, guys. And thank you. I was reminded of when I would read in school and then I wasn't ready and then all the words would be wrong and then I'd be like, made a fool of myself. So here I am today. Hi guys, I'm on YouTube. Just made a fool of myself. I'm working on my stand-up comedy, but I also love video games. I hope that I can be involved in the creation of something related to video game content, hardware probably related. I just like using things. I like it when technology helps my life. I don't want to have to take a class and learn, like spend, the equivalent of 7 years in school to be able to figure out how to use my phone and watch Apple. Gosh, I feel like Apple did it backwards. They're like, you need to learn how to use our equipment. I'm like, no, why doesn't your equipment learn how to use me in a positive way by making my life better? That's my goal. I hope that anything that I did here today is enjoyable to watch. I'm trying to work through things that are funny. I hope one day that I am funny. There are people that inspire me that are funny. There's an Asian comedian guy. He had a Netflix special. There's a lot of people. I like Asians because I'm not Asian. I like a lot of things that I'm not. I like things that I am too. Don't get it confused. I'm just saying, I could see value in almost everything except being lazy. So I'm going to get back to work. I need to walk. I'm trying to get into shape. I'm going to do marathons. I think gaming is evolving. I think it's going to become even more integrated into every part of life, especially when it becomes more efficient. I think the Tower PC has been holding us back, but it's going to be unleashed with all these handheld gaming devices. I'm excited. I am. Nintendo kind of has had a monopoly. Nintendo and PlayStation have had a kind of a monopoly on the handheld entertainment. And I'm like, look, now it's opened the door. And the one thing that I want to get past is this kind of like just quick make a buck. That's why I like the Legion Go. I had the first iteration. I'm a huge fan of IBM, Lenovo, ThinkPads. When I would bust out my IBM ThinkPad, I felt like a professional, and I think that's the whole point. It isn't necessarily always about all the specs and making and doing the fastest computing. I think it's also about the experience. Thank you. And this was a pleasant experience. I love you. For me, it was a pleasant experience for me. Look, I'm working on my reading. Okay, thank you. I love you. Bye.